men never picked a woman that did so much for them. So if you ever find yourself in a situation where you didn't build this man up, helped him with his resume, help him get a job, help him build a business, help him flip his money, help him when he didn't have no credit, help him raise his children on some you wasn't nobody before I met you type of thing, thinking that you're going to get a return on your investment or somehow this man's going to be indebted to you and do right by you because you helped him with all his he's not, okay? This is the same man that will go and find a woman who's not doing half of the things that you're doing and give her the sun, the moon, and the stars because she makes him feel like a man. It's just what it is. He didn't ask you to do all of that. And do you think he want to look at you and think like, oh, this woman helped me build my life? He's not your child, right? It just never works out like that. So do me a favor and save your time, your money, okay, and all of your energy because it just never rolls around like that, baby. Either he's going to be like, thank you, peace out, or he's going to be like, I didn't ask you to do all of that. I didn't ask you to do all of that. It is going to be a conflict of interest. So you choose.
As cliche as this might sound, a lot of women take the opportunity to sort of hijack a man's growth in certain stages of his life. A lot of times she wants to dictate the value she receives from his growth. I did a series early on last year about not being able to dictate what growth and healing looks like for your partner. The focus shouldn't be the payout for the person that's helping them grow and helping them build. You don't get to dictate what health and growth looks like. You don't get to dictate what the end result gets you. And also, I think a lot of times women see themselves as the superior in the situation. They have nothing to fix, so as soon as this man is done growing, I'm going to reap the benefit and I'm going to bring him up to my level. So in all reality, while you should be growing with him, you're just outside of it trying to facilitate it. This new version of himself that he's growing into needs somebody that's conducive to continuing his path in the relationship. Remember, in this situation, you're not the designer, you're the partner. I saw where a guy stated that after he went through his growth and transition out of alcoholism, his lady left him because he wasn't fun anymore. And that's the tricky part about growth. Now new expectations and new needs develop and they have to be addressed. Otherwise, the relationship has to end. So in these situations, it's good to assess whether you need to start growing as well. Are you going to be able to sustain this new version that is coming about? Are you willing to become what he needs, or is this something that you just don't want to do anymore? Because if you need him to just grow into a version of him that benefits you more, but not necessarily benefits him more, you're in it for the wrong reasons. And you got to remember, during seasons of change, people remember who was there helping them and who was there that benefited them the most. If during the hard times he hearing you do these deep sighs and there's always a complaint or your attitude is super messed up the entire time, because you're entitled to be frustrated. But if that's all he remembers, yeah, he's going to get out of that. In order to help someone build, you kind of got to be all in. Specifically if you're trying to stay in relationship with them.
I went on a date with a man who left his wife when he leveled up his life. I have heard people talk about this concept. Don't date a man who isn't established because the second he establishes himself, he's gonna leave you. I have heard that 1,000 times. And I'm gonna be honest, I kind of thought it was bullshit. It's true. Obviously, I went on a date with a guy who's divorced. And when I asked him about why he got divorced, it was a lot of BS. It was essentially that they got married when he was very young, he didn't have a career, and then he went back to school, became a software engineer, then he went and got a master's at a prestigious university, and basically just felt like he and his wife just weren't on the same page anymore. He said that she didn't really support him when he was pursuing these things, but he said other things, like, when I got married to her, I was so inexperienced with women. Like, I was just shocked that a woman wanted to be with me. And I kind of get that when you're really young and you get married. You kind of are just shocked that like a boy likes you, a girl likes you. But let's be real about what happened. He leveled up his life and he didn't look at her the same way. In his mind, he was like, I can do better. I feel like as women, we think like, a man will love me because he sees that I love him when he was at his lowest, when he was nothing, when he made no money, and I was there. But in reality, I think a lot of men don't see that and don't care for that. When they level up their life, they go home to a woman and think, she loved me when I was nothing. Now I'm something. What can I get now that I'm something? And I think that that's really tacky. It's just kind of scary. You can really like a guy, but if he's not established in his career or in his life, you should seriously consider holding off on dating them. Because even if you have a great relationship and he marries you, if and when he establishes himself, there is a big chance he could leave you. Look at Steve Harvey or Nicolas Cage or literally so many famous people who were married and then they became famous and then left their wives. The same wives that loved them when they were penniless and nameless. They were just like, bye.
Absolutely never carry a man on your back. That's what my grandma used to always say. Never carry a man on your back. That's just as valid as building with a man, struggling with a man, because what does Kanye say again? When he get on, he's gonna leave you for a white girl. Not necessarily for a white girl, but he's gonna leave you for the person that he always wanted when he was poor or when he was broken or when he was in that situation, because that's just how it works. You will always remind them of struggle. You will always remind them of struggle because you were there during the struggle time, and that is the time that they did not like. They did not like that time, but every time they turn around, here was your face, helping him build. But as soon as the empire is built, he's going to find the person that he feels fits to stand next to him, because now you're not that person. You don't fit that image that he had in his head. You remind him of struggle. You remind him of the time when you got...
My baby daddy is quote unquote famous. My baby daddy is Wide Neck.
Is who?
Wide Neck.
Who's Wide Neck?
The dude that went viral from his neck.
This your baby daddy?
Yeah, that's him, child.
So did y'all break up after he got famous?
Yes, ma'am.
Why did y'all break up?
He a man that ain't never really had shit. So when he got in the light and his women started coming at him, like, it was a problem for me. You feel me? Like, it's either we together or we not. And I have been, like I said, we have been together way before he turned famous, 16 years. It got too much on me, Kendra. Like, it was too much.
So this your baby daddy, yes. The one with him, right?
My child's father. I just put the bitch in jail the day after Thanksgiving for a child support purge because the motherfucker don't take care of my kids, Kendra.
Some people think that you are a little bitter about this situation with your child's father.
I mean, I'm a mother of 5 kids. I get no help. So if I seem a little bitter to you guys, then that's the reason why, bro. Like, I shouldn't have to be made to take care of these kids by myself. With him being who he is, he's financially stable to help me. So what they talking about, Kendra, they ain't walking in my shoes. I don't give a fuck about it. Nah, bitter that.
What if you hold a down all this time and then when he finally gets lit, he drops?
The reason why when a man gets in position, he always gets a new girl is because the girl that's been with him the longest is never going to be able to understand that that man is a whole new guy now. The girl that's been with him the longest will never be able to understand that little Mike who was broke from 21 to 25 is now rich and treat him like a rich man. No, she's not. She's going to keep bringing him problem after problem after problem. And that's the reason why we get something new all the time. When y'all get y'all body done, right? When y'all get y'all body done, y'all seem to tend to try to act like I didn't hit you before you got your body done. Yes, I did. But you guess what? We allow y'all to act funny when y'all get y'all body done. We allow y'all to stick y'all chest out. It's new. You know what I'm saying? It's like, yeah, because if I was smashing on a girl and she was a SpongeBob and then she get her body done, no, that's not the same box, bro. It's just not. So that man that you've held down for all the years and then when he get on his feet, he becomes somebody else is because he knows that you're not going to treat him like a rich man. He knows that you're going to feel like because of seniority, you get to disrupt his peace and you get to act crazy and give him a headache. And that's why we always go get someone new. Because the new girl, you know what the new girl's going to do? she's never going to talk back. She's not. She's going to say at all times. She's not going to raise her voice because that man is rich and she want to stay there. The girl that he been with the longest will.
This is part one. Why do men leave women after they have become successful? Now, not all men. There's some men. I'm going to do a 4-part series right here. Why do some men leave women after they have become successful? Why? Because the number one reason that I want to start with is once a man becomes successful and he begins to get financial wealth, or he begins to get access to more money, he gets access to greater grade women. Now, I'm not saying that you're not a good grade. However, once he gets that money and once his level, his status goes up, watch this, he gets access to better people, right? And the truth of the matter is, if the roles are reversed, if you begin to get more money, you would get access to greater people as well. So the reason most men leave.
All right, so today we're going to talk about why men, or a lot of men, will not approach a beautiful, successful woman. So did a lot of research, read blogs and different articles and things like that. And I came to the conclusion that I was pretty much on par with what the general public is saying about it. So this is the deal. The number one reason why men don't approach a beautiful, successful woman is that they are intimidated. They just feel like they're just not gonna line up. Especially an average guy like myself. You look at a beautiful, successful woman, you're thinking, she doesn't want anything to do with me. Because, why is that? It's because I know that she can pick from the cream de la cream, the beautiful, successful, providing men. So why bother with someone like me? Number two, men are, but they feel a lot of times feel inferior. So we have a lot of insecurities. Men have a lot of insecurities. They're insecure about their body. They're insecure about their performance. They're insecure about the income they make, and so on and so forth. And so you combine all of those together and you got a problem. And so the last reason why, and this may seem kind of different, or you may not have thought about this, but competition. In other words, men they don't want to work that hard because they know that there are hundreds of men competing for her attention. She's beautiful, she's successful, and you got all these men that are beautiful and successful, and they are vying for her attention. And it's like, that's just too much work. I'm not even going to put myself into that pool of competition. So those are the reasons, because again, women as a whole are God's crown and jewel, and you put success on top of that, you put articulation on top of that, you put sexy and beautiful on top of that, and you got the cream de la cream, and it's just intimidating. You tell me what you think.
So something that I've noticed since being in law school and even graduating from law school and starting my business and everything like that is that some men don't want to be with a successful woman. Now, they may claim they do, but in reality, they don't. Once you get to a certain level of success, your success can begin to intimidate them. And that will show up in little ways in the relationship. Why? Because they begin to resent your success because you're becoming the powerhouse of the relationship, the mitochondria, if you will, and they don't like that. To them, you're supposed to be behind them, slightly behind them, or beside them, as they say. And so when you begin to step in front of them, when you become to get in the limelight, they don't want that to happen. They don't like that. It takes a strong man, someone who is comfortable in himself, in his career, in his person, in his manhood, to be with a successful woman.
I too was seeing a man who was also an engineer, Haitian man, and he pursued me for so long. I knew him through his sister because his sister used to throw like lavish parties, and I would go to the parties, but he would always be the one who would get way too drunk. But I never knew that was his sister until after something happened and her and I basically fell out. Then he reached out to me on Facebook and kept pursuing me, right? But I never really replied to him because I'm like, who is this weirdo messaging me? But anyways, come to find out, this man is an engineer, and he was also teaching engineering at a college, but working as an engineer during the day. This man would pursue me, and he would message me saying, I would get you whatever you want. Your wish is my command. You are the most beautiful, blah, blah, blah. You know, all the foo-foo stuff that men will tell you. Anyway, so finally I gave him a chance. And it comes to find out that that was his sister that I used to work with, and also I used to go to her parties. Anyway, so we started dating. This man started telling me about how, you know, he got a divorce. And mind you, I actually met his wife at one of those parties and his children. He had three beautiful children. One of them, which is in college, and the other two are a lot younger. But anyways, I met his wife and I hung out with her, you know, all of these things. But he would tell me how he got a divorce the whole time he was still married, but got a divorce. And I didn't know this until like way later. He got a divorce and he left his wife because his wife let go of herself after, you know, she had children, and he couldn't take her to like all the parties that he would go to where his colleagues will have like women next to them, you know, their wives and stuff, but their wives were like up to par, I guess. Like they had the look, you know, the look. The look. Anyway, so yeah, he would say a bunch of crazy stuff about how his wife, you know, does not look the part, and she, you know, walk around the house with bonnets on and all that stuff. He would tell me all these things about his wife. Only when I put two and two together, I realized that his wife does not look like that. But then again, whenever people go to parties, they do dress up. But she did not look how he was describing her, like as if she was like a pick-me, where she wasn't really taking care of herself. She was the lady that was struggling with him when he had nothing. And once he became an engineer, he would buy all these expensive cars, and he even gave me his card. Like, he gave me a black card one time because I had to pay my tolls, and I didn't tell him that's what it was for, you know. I told him that I needed something, and he just gave me his black card, and I had the black card for almost like 6 months. I was literally spending money left and right, buying myself gifts and all this stuff, and this man did not care. He said, like, I could do whatever I want with the money, you know, whatever. Anyways, of course, I didn't like overspend too much, but I did buy myself whatever I wanted. And he was paying for my apartment and everything. But this man, like, we would go on vacation. One time we even went on a vacation where his daughter came back from college just to visit for the weekend. And he left for that weekend and told his daughter that he was going on a business trip. And we stayed at a resort. It was real nice. It was real nice. I just know I had a great time with this relationship, because at the end of the day, I knew this man was lying, not about the whole marriage thing. Like, even on weekends, whenever I would be working and I cannot hang out with him, he would basically say that, you know, he's hanging around the house, preparing the home that they used to share together, because they're not going to sell it because they don't live together anymore. They were going to sell it, so he's preparing it because they have people who are going to come take a look at the house, so they, you know, if they're interested in buying it. The whole time this man and his wife stayed in the same house, they were together the whole time. But of course, even after I find out, I broke it off with him. I stopped talking to him. His wife ended up calling me one time, and she was like, who am I to him? I'm like, why don't you ask him who am I to him? Because you find my number on his phone. I didn't disrespect for anything, because I would never disrespect another woman, but unless it's necessary, right? But yeah, I was like, ask him. But after that, I stopped talking to him. Then he ended up messaging me like a couple weeks later, as if like I'm just supposed to forget about it, right? Of course, me, I don't argue. I'm not like going to argue or stupid shit like that. Anyways, so then I told him, I said, look, this is what happened. In order for you to, you know, if you want to continue talking to me, I need you to cash out me or Zelle me this amount of money, because your wife called me on my phone and used my minutes, not minutes, I don't have minutes, but used my service to call me to ask about you, when you should have been the one explaining to your wife. And then he told me that, you know, his son was playing on the phone and he was in the shower or whatever, and the wife caught the phone, and then he saw like a outgoing call to me, and he knew he hadn't called me that day, and that's how he found out that she called me. So she never told him anything. But anyway, so I'm like, you need to cash out me this much money in order for you to even talk to me, right? So then I stopped talking to him because he never cashed out me that money. I guess he was embarrassed. But a year later, this man is still on my phone asking me, oh, you married now? You know, I'm sorry about what happened. I miss you. You know, you're my princess, and you know, all that foo-foo stuff. But trust me, I say that to say this. Men will leave you in the desert with no water. Yeah, So anyways, guys, that's my crazy story.
Type of women that men want, they have to work their ass off to become a different version of themselves to get access to those women. And what women don't realize is when a man is at his lowest, his ultimate objective is survival of the fittest. And they will use anything as a tool, as a stepping ladder to get where they want. When you work with a man at his lowest, men see women as mirrors to themselves, and they see you at their lowest, and they don't want you to reflect back on them where they came from, because they used you to build themselves up, and now they need another level to go to, something that's harder. You wasn't hard to conquer. You just helped him go on to the next woman. The woman that wouldn't fuck with him or even look his way, because she is a prize.